Yes, so we're standing by for the program Land Matters with Attorney-At-Law Gloria Brown. Amen. God is good, and we are happy to have her back with us. Gloria Brown. Okay, I'm hearing something. Okay. All right. Over to you, um, attorney.
Good evening, my brother,
God
and good
bless
evening,
you. It's good to
listeners.
hear you again.
Thank you so much. Good to hear you as well, and good to be back with the listeners.
Wonderful. And over to you and the Holy Ghost, and to just, continue to edify us concerning land.
Bless you. Thanks so
Bless your
much.
heart.
Good evening, listeners. My name is Gloria Brown, and welcome to second series of Land Matters. We're on earlier in the year, took a break, and we're back with you on Land Matters. So this Land Matters is aired every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. here on Called Out Gospel Radio. And I invite you to send your questions. You may send your questions via WhatsApp for any question you have in relation to a land matter. The numbers 876-868-5109 or 876-535-8186. So it's 876-868-5109 or 876-535-8186. And Call Out Gospel Radio is a family radio station, and the aim of this station, as well as this particular program, Land Matters, is to educate our listeners as we impact the lives positively of those who listen to the radio station. So we invite you to tell someone, invite someone to listen to Called Out Gospel Radio, as you will be able to feed the mind as well as the soul. In the earlier segment that we did earlier in the year, we looked at everything land related. And I want to take the opportunity to encourage. I never to give a talk without encouraging my listeners to make a will, as well as to sort out the title for the land you're on. So if you occupy property, maybe you got it by a gift, maybe you bought it, maybe it was willed to you, maybe somebody just say you could live at that particular place, or you have been living there for some time. I invite you to make every effort to get a title, because when you have a title for your property, the word we use is that it is indefeasible. Nobody can question your title ownership unless they can show that you got the title fraudulently. So a title is good security, and it is guaranteed by the government of Jamaica. So don't just sit back, relax, and say, I'm eating, I'm sleeping, I'm marrying and giving my children into marriage, so I'm comfortable. Don't let that be enough. Make sure you have that documentation so you can leave some certainty for your forebears, for your children, for the next generation. Because I've seen instances where, for example, somebody buys a piece of property from someone else in the community, make their house, or don't make a house, farm it, etc. The person they bought it from dies, and then the children of the person they have bought it from come forward to say that he sold the land too cheaply, or that he never have the right to sell, or that he didn't really sell, it was a trick. So whenever you buy property, get proper documentation right away and get your title, so anybody who wants to question it really don't have legs to stand on. Protect your interest. Don't just wait until there is a fire, because most of the times when persons come to me, it's unusual for someone to come to me to say, Miss Brown, I wanted to look after a title for me. And I say, what is the problem? Usually there is a problem. Oh, I went to pay the tax and somebody has paid it already. Or I tried to survey the property, and when I check, somebody has surveyed it already. Or I tried to survey it and somebody has stopped the survey. Or somebody has given me notice. So don't wait until the evil days come. Don't wait until there are trials. Don't wait until there are problems before you come forward. And just to advise the listeners that this segment of Land Matters is brought to you by Jamaica Public Service JPS, powering progress, lighting lives, and partnering with communities to build a brighter Jamaica. Okay, stay tuned because when it comes to land, faith, and the future, every matter counts. So today's segment of Land Matters is brought to you by Jamaica Public Service, JPS, powering progress, lighting lives, and partnering with communities to build a brighter Jamaica. And we say thanks to JPS for sponsoring this program this evening. So I'm saying to you, if you need me to get a title for you, and remember, my name is Gloria Brown. I'm an attorney. I have an office in Winchester Business Center, that's in Harper Tree, St. Andrew, and also in Ocho Rio, St. Anne, Jamaica National Building. But for us to get a title for you, don't really need, because I get titles, so many titles for my listeners overseas, and I've never met many of them. So if you want me to get a title for you, just WhatsApp me the word title. That's all you have to do, and then I'll give you the guidance you need. Just WhatsApp the word title to this number, 876 387 3183. All you have to do, just WhatsApp just the word TITLE. You don't have to say good evening, just WhatsApp the word TITLE to 876-387-3183, and I will gladly assist you in getting a title. A title is important, as I was saying before. And there's a gentleman who has written a book. The name of the gentleman is Hernando de Soto, and the name of the book is The Mystery of Capital: Why Capitalism Thrives in the West and Fails Everywhere Else. He's saying, what is the mystery of capital? Why is it that some countries are successful and some are not? Some economically successful, that is, because success can be measured in so many other ways. Because there are so many countries that are economically successful, and we see it especially in today's in what's happening today, but morally bankrupt in a lot of ways. Okay, spiritually bankrupt sometimes, but even though they have the wherewithal. So capitalism is not always what it sets out to do. But what they are saying is that person, what the Sota is saying is that person are able to benefit economically from the from the entire economy of their societies, because persons have titles and persons are able to walk into a bank and get collateral in order to build houses, to start businesses, etc. Because when you look at the West, everybody has a title for their property. There's a hidden economy there when it comes to titles. Why, when you look at countries and they look at Haiti, and it's the same thing for Jamaica. We have the collateral, we have the wherewithal. So we have the expensive buildings on land, but no documentation. So we can't leverage we can't leverage the assets we have. Is what he called dead capital. So you have that nice house that's valued at 15 million, 20 million, 50 million, but you don't have any documentation to show that you are the owner. So you can't use that to borrow money to send the children to school. So that's what I'm encouraging us. Let us try to each person to have a title for the little piece of land that you own, no matter how small it is. And as small as the piece of land is, as long as a surveyor is willing to survey it, we will title it. So it can be as small as the page, as a book. It can be titled. There's no limit. There's no size limit. So as small as it is, a surveyor should be able to survey it, and you should be able to title it. There are some things that might hinder you if you need subdivision, etc. But if you have been living on this little piece of land for more than 7 years, and it is in certain parts of Jamaica, then you are able to succeed in getting a title for it. So there is no excuse for you not to have a title. So I beg persons, start with a survey, because if you're going to get a title, you need to have a survey diagram. And that's where the process starts. You get your survey, and then the process starts in titling. So just send me the word title to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Just send me the word title, and I will gladly assist you in getting a title for your property. Don't wait until you need it. Okay? Until it becomes a desperate need and you need it today. Deal with it before the urgency comes. Also, encouraging the listeners on the restart of Land Matters, I'm encouraging you as well to make wills. You can buy a will form. It's very user friendly. And what is beneficial about a will is that it allows you to determine who is to get what you have after you have passed on. So you can determine who is to get what. And remember, in Jamaica, we have something called freedom of testamentary disposition. You are free to dispose of your assets as you deem fit. So there's no law to say you have to leave something for anybody, whether your spouse, your children. There's no rule to say you have to leave something for them. You can leave your property to whoever you want. You can leave your assets, your money, your house, your car. You can leave to whoever you want, even to a stranger, even though you might have a family. But of course, we would not encourage that. But you have the freedom to do that. But if you have left, suppose, for example, you have a child who is a minor and you are supporting that child, or you have your spouse and you have left nothing for them. Under the Inheritance Act, the person you have not left anything for, if that person feels that, which can show that he or she was dependent on you and you used to support them, or that person has some disability, maybe disability is that the person is a minor, that is your older spouse who cannot work, etc., or a disabled child, then even after you have died, under the Inheritance Act, the person who is claiming a part of your estate can take the matter to court to say you made a will, you left nothing for them, and the court has the authority, has the right to vary what you have made in the will, and the court could make provision for these other persons. But estate planning is crucial. So you're encouraged. I'm encouraging you, my listeners, to sit down and make the wills. Don't let persons tell you that if you make it, you're going to die. Because the reality is that none of us will live forever unless the Lord comes now, or unless, like Enoch, okay, walked with God and he was not, because God took him. Otherwise, the reality is that unless the Lord comes or unless he takes us home before, then we're going to die. So it suits us to make the wills. And sometimes when persons come into my office and I write the wills for them in such a short time, they just can't believe. They say, this is what I was waiting on. This is what I was afraid to do. And then they'll come back in another 5 years for me to do it over, because you really should redo your will. If anybody in the will should die, or your circumstances should change, you made the will and you had one house, you have sold that house and it's another house now, or you have bought a second house, or you have had another child, or the witness has died, or the executor has died, or a beneficiary has died, any change like that, then you need to redo your will. And remember, if you get married, your will is null and void. Marriage revokes your will. Marriage kills your will. So if you have a will and you get married, the will is not valid again. The will is dead. You have to make a new will after you are married. Important to note. Many persons are not aware of that fact, that marriage kills your will. So if you're getting married, then you need to make a new will immediately as soon as you're married, because if you had one before, that one is going to become null and void. It's revoked. We we say there's something in law, and sometimes I don't like to complicate the matter, but the only will that is valid if you get married is a will that is made in, we call it, in contemplation of marriage. So I'm getting married on Saturday and I write a will to say this will is made in contemplation of my marriage to John Brown, and then that will would be valid even though it was made before you got married, because it is made in contemplation of your marriage. You're listening to Land Matters, which is aired on Paulo Gospel Radio every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And Paulo Gospel Radio is located in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And the aim of this station is to impact the lives of our listeners positively. And we welcome everyone joining us via the radio stream or the app in the Google Play Store or on the YouTube channel. Please send your calls to 876. You may call or send a WhatsApp message to 876-868-5109 or 876-535-8186. Please send a message to any of those numbers, or if you want me to get a title for you, just send a message to 876-387-3183. All you have to do is just say the word title. 876-387-3183. And Call Out Gospel Radio, this station As we said, it aims to educate and to inform and to uplift the listeners spiritually positively, especially in these difficult times when there are so many things that are there to distract us. As the songwriter says, I see the sights that dazzle, the tempting sounds I hear. There are so many things around to distract. So the aim of this station is really to educate and to inform and to uplift. And this segment of Land Matters is brought to you by JPS, Jamaica Public Service, Powering Progress, lighting lives, and partnering with communities to build a brighter Jamaica. And I want to really thank JPS for sponsoring Land Matters this evening. So I'm talking to my listeners about the two things that anytime I start a program, those are the two things I encourage us to do: get our titles, make our wills. Even if you are on a title with another person as joint tenants, and remember we have the two main types of tenancy. There are different types. There are about three or more. But the two main ones we have joint tenants or tenants in common. So when you buy property and it is not in your name alone. So for example, John Brown and Mary Brown buy a property and it's in their names as joint tenants. That means if John dies, Mary will get it. If Mary dies, John will get it. So John makes a will and wills his share to his children, but John dies first. There's nothing for the children to get. It goes to Mary. The principle of survivorship operates when it comes to joint tenancy. And I usually tell my clients, in order to remember it, the joint tenancy is like the joint account. When one person dies, the money belongs to the other. So that's the joint one. When you are tenants in common now, each person has a share. And when one person dies, it does not go to the other. It goes to the estate of that one. So John and Mary are tenants in common. When John dies, Mary does not get John's share. John's share will go to whoever John wills it to. If John dies without a will, it will go to his next of kin, who the law says is to get it after, whether spouse, children, etc. That's how it is going to be shared. But even though persons are joint tenants, you should still put it in your will, because you don't want to be saying, hey, I am not going to put it in the will because if I die first, it will go to the other person. You are still going to put it, and you're going to put in your will. If my husband John should die before me, I give it to my daughter. John will put in his will. If my wife Mary should die before me, I give it to my son. So if John dies first, Mary's daughter will get it. If Mary dies first, John's son will get it. So it will go into the will of the one who died last. That's where it will fall. But it's both of you should put it in the will because you don't know who will die first. And sometimes one dies today and the other one tomorrow. We see it all the time. Also, also, sometimes the two persons die at the same time. God forbid an accident or something like that, could take place. And if two persons die at the same time, the law says the younger one died last. So John and Mary die at the same time. They are joint tenants in the property. Mary is younger. Then the property is going to fall into Mary's estate. So whoever Mary willed it to will get it because she's seen as a surviving joint tenant. So there are some little nuances in the law that we need to be aware of and ensure that we make proper provision. You want me to get a title for you? Please WhatsApp the word title to 876-387-3183. And you're listening to Called Out Gospel Radio, the family radio station, aired every Tuesday. And you're listening to Land Matters, which is aired every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Land Matters on Called Out Gospel Radio. In terms of the will, you can buy a will form. They are very user friendly, and the forms only have space for two executors. But when you are writing your will, you can name one executor, you can name two, you can name as many as four executors. Okay, you can name as many as four executors. And if you name four executors, then the four of them can get probate of your will at the same time, or one could get probate and the other three, we call it, reserve the right to apply later on. So there are provisions there that can guide and direct what is to happen. Okay, in terms of the executorship, if you look at the form, you will see where the form makes provision for these persons to the executors and trustees. And sometimes you need trustees in your will because you have minor beneficiaries, or you might have beneficiaries who have a disability, and you might need this to guide you. Where the beneficiaries have a disability, then the trustees would be the one to manage the estate for you. And the important thing, one thing that I always encourage my clients to do is to make the beneficiaries your executors. So you're going to will the property to your husband and children, make them the executors. You can choose four of them, one, two, three, four of them to be the executors. And it's something that I need persons to note, because I am still getting it from persons that they have been told that the beneficiaries cannot be the executors. So the best executors are your beneficiaries. The only thing, the only prohibition that we want you to remember is that the witness is not to be a beneficiary. Because when you have written your will, it needs to be witnessed by two persons, at least two. So it can be witnessed by two or more persons. And the witnesses or the witness's spouse should not get anything out of the will. So when I write wills, I witness them, which means that my clients can leave nothing for me. Or if my husband should witness the will, then nothing can be left for me. So I witness all the wills that I write to ensure that there is nothing in the wills for me, because the witness is not to benefit from the will. Because it is going to seem as if you coerce the person, you encourage the person to make the will and to leave something for you, and you are the one who has witnessed. So there's that kind of a conflict there. So in order to avoid such conflict, the law says that the witness or the witness's spouse should not benefit. So you can ask your sister to witness the will. You can even ask one of the children to witness the will if you're not leaving anything for that child. But the persons you are leaving anything for, they or their spouses are not supposed to be a witness to your will, because they would have to go to court to convince the court that they did not exert any undue influence on you to make you leave something for them, and then they go and witness the will. And I take this opportunity to encourage the persons out there who have your older relatives. The ambush lies the evil one. There are many people out there who are tricking older persons, okay, to get their property, collecting money for their properties, etc. So I encourage those of you out there who have your older relatives to make sure you know what is happening. Protect them, protect their assets, and look after your older relatives. Don't just look after their assets. Don't just leave them to stay in their homes without any help, without any awareness that somebody cares about them. Let them know that you care not just about their assets, but also protect what is there. And children, you are there for the parents, you have looked after them, etc. Ensure that they do some kind of estate planning. And parents, a good part of the estate planning is what we call inter vivos transactions. If you can add the children to the title while you are alive, it's good. A warm gift is better than a cold one. If you can give it when your hands are warm, do it. But keep an interest in the property. So if I'm transferring property to persons, parents come and say, I want to add the children to the title. I encourage the parents to take a life interest. So the title will read to Gloria Brown and John Brown for the term of their natural life, and after death to Peter Brown and Paul Brown. So as long as I am alive, I have an interest in the property. It is mine to sell. Mark you, if I sell it, I have an obligation to the children. But I can also let the children, as long as they are over 18, I let them sign a disclaimer to say if parents should sell, then they have no interest in the proceeds of the sale. But when you keep your name on the title and say after death to the children, when you die, they don't have to go through any probate. And probate is time consuming and expensive. So if you can add your children to your property while you are alive, it is a good thing to do. It's very, very important to note if you can do that, especially those of us who are abroad and we have bought the property in Jamaica. Even if you say the children are not going to come to Jamaica, it's good for you to add them to the title, because if they want to sell the property, they don't have to go through probate. And the probate is taking us much more than a year these days. Because all the titles are taking us a little while to get, the probates are taking us some time to get. So we encourage you to do a part of your estate planning by making sure that if at all possible and you're sure who you want to get the property after you pass, it's good if you could add them to the title while you're alive, while the blood is running warm in your vein, and while you have the capacity. Because we realize what is happening in that, a lot of persons, dementia sets in, etc. So we have to be extremely cautious about how we deal with things, because sometimes we don't have the capacity and persons trick us into doing things. So older persons, don't even let your children tell you to write. Mommy, let me see how you write your name. Sometimes you're writing, signing away your own house and don't realize. Don't let anybody, because sometimes it's those that are close to you, who are close to you, sometimes who have the opportunity, okay, to trick you. And I've seen it so many times out of your assets. There's another hymn that says, "The arms of flesh will fail you. You dare not trust your own." That's the song that says, stand up for Jesus." So you have to be careful. And when you have signed something, we have a principle, we have a maxim in law that says, "Non est factum." You can't say it's not your deed. When you have signed something, the law presumes that you read it, even though you can't go to court and say, "I signed it, but I didn't read it." As long as you have signed it, it is your deed, even if you can't read. So don't let anybody tell you that, sign this. Let me see how you sign, mommy, or mommy, sign this is for your pension. Be careful. Get somebody, get the trusted justice of the peace to look at it for you, or somebody who might understand. But don't let anybody trick you. "Oh, mama, sign this, because you're sick and we don't know." Okay, I've seen that happen with one child getting everything because the child has tricked the parents, and then you have passed on. And we know that when you have passed on, you can't come back to give evidence. And what is written is difficult to prove that that was done fraudulently. So be mindful, be careful of anybody asking you to sign things, no matter. They might say, "Hey, sign this, mommy, it's for your pension." If you can't read it and understand it, tell your very trusted child that you'd want somebody to look at it for you. And lawyers might be expensive, but there are legal aid clinics all over the place. A lot of the churches have legal aid. For my listeners in Kingston, I always tell them about the Bethel Baptist Church in Halfway Tree. We have a legal aid clinic every Saturday morning between 10 and 12, and the fee to see a lawyer is $500. Between 10 and 12 every Saturday, the fee to see a lawyer is just $500. If you want me to get a title for you, please remember to just text me the word title, WhatsApp me the word title to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183 is the number that I would invite you to send the word title to. So what am I saying to you this evening, the first program since we have resumed Land Matters? I'm encouraging you, my listeners, to sort out your titles. Send me the word title to 876-387-3183. I'm also inviting you to make your wills. Make a will. As long as you're over 18, you have the capacity to make a will. And you might say, "I have nothing." But sometimes you have things and don't even know, because God forbid if you're in an accident and you should die, whatever money that your beneficiaries are able to sue the insurance company for, that becomes a part of your estate. So everybody, even at 18, should just have even a simple will. "I leave all that I have to my parents, or to my children, or to my spouse," etc. And then you improve on it as you go along. Because even if you are employed, remember, the money that goes to NHD, that refund has to come back to you. You might have a car. You might be working and then something happens to you on the job, you're entitled to something. And then there's always the leave pay and the back pay, etc. Especially for persons who are working with the government, there's always some back money to be got. So encourage everybody to write a will. And I want to say thanks this evening. The time goes by very quickly. And to remind you that this segment of Land Matters was brought to you by Jamaica Public Service, JPS, powering progress, lighting lives, and partnering with communities to build a better Jamaica. Thank you so much, JPS, for sponsoring Land Matters, and I think the sponsorship will go on for another few programs. And I want to say thanks also to our listeners who continue to listen to Land Matters. and to say thanks to the family of the Called Out Gospel Radio. And we pray God's continued blessings upon this station, and that it will go from strength to strength and impact the lives of individuals continuously, because there's so much negative messages out there that a positive station is always a blessing. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Called Out Gospel family, and to the listeners. Have a good evening and God bless you all.
Radio COGR. Tune in and be informed, whether it's matters of buying and selling, subdivision of land, writing and probing will and testaments, acquiring or modifying land titles, and much more. That's Land Matters every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Called Out Gospel Radio.
Attoerney-At-Law, Gloria
Don't
Brown
miss it. For Land Matters every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time on Called Out Gospel Radio COGR. Tune in and be informed, whether it's matters of buying and selling, subdivision of land, writing and probing will and testaments, acquiring or modifying land titles, and much more. That's Land Matters every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Called Out Gospel Radio. Don't miss it.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in the time of trouble. Therefore we will not fear. Though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will